Well, just as it's fair to say his start to life as head coach of the Pakistan Test side was a baptism of fire, it's just as safe to say it's unlikely to deter Jason Gillespie from the job at hand. As we get to chat about that and the summer of cricket that's fast approaching here in Australia, let's bring him in from our Adelaide studios. Jason, big welcome back to Fox Sports News, and for the first time as Pakistan's head coach. I know, a little bit of a bumpy start, had a few weeks to let that series loss to Bangladesh settle. How have you been able to put it to bed?
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Great to chat to you, mate. Look, it was bitterly disappointing. You always want to win games of cricket that you play. We prepared well, but we were just beaten by a better team, unfortunately. We had a lot of work to do. There's no doubt about that. I'm excited by the opportunity. Obviously disappointed to lose the games first up. But look, there's lots of positives to take out of it. There's lots of growth there within the Pakistan Test side. So really excited and energised by the opportunity next month when we host England at home.
Yeah, I'm keen to get your thoughts on that. But just on Pakistan, look, it's not like you picked up a team that was in hot form, but it's also a nation not really known for its stability and tenure, especially after a loss. And what's it been like to just be the new guy in charge, to navigate that sort of environment, and one where your playing squad's almost seemingly under endless pressure for the lures of franchise cricket as well?
Yeah, most certainly. And the lures of franchise cricket are not isolated to Pakistan. We've seen that all around the world, those pressures, I suppose. We're not immune from that in Pakistan. But look, obviously there was a lot of disappointment around the country, but I think there's an acceptance and an understanding that change is needed. We need to be patient. And there has been, as you mentioned, there has been a lot of turnover in playing personnel, people working at the PCB, coaches. So I think that there's a real appetite for stability, Jim, and hopefully we can secure that. We can then just focus on looking to play the best cricket we can possibly play. But yeah, there's certainly, from since I've been there, there's been a real appetite for some stability.
Oh, talking about appetite, you must be licking your lips to get England over there. October 7, it starts this series. It's a massive opportunity, doesn't it, present to this squad, as you say, is now developing, but can really put a stake in the ground and turn things around.
Yeah, most certainly. It's a great opportunity to play against quality cricket sides, and we know England are a very good side. It's pretty clear how they go about their game in Test cricket under Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes. They look to play a very aggressive style of cricket. But we'll be prepared for that. We'll be ready to counter that with our style of cricket. We just want to be as consistent and as disciplined as we possibly can throughout all 5 days of each Test match. And we believe if we can do that in our home conditions, it gives ourselves the best chance of winning.
Well, looking a little bit closer to home here, obviously, in Australia, it's the might of India who are headed down under this summer. Still a lot of chat about the Aussie top order, in particular the opening role. Steve Smith, still in your view the best option, or maybe a guy you know well? Travis Head, is the time right for him to go up the order as we still look for this full-time replacement for Dave Warner?
Yeah, and look, Dave Warner's been a wonderful player for Australia in all formats for a long time. So these type of players like Davey are pretty tough to replace. I didn't mind the idea of Steve Smith going up to the top, but I sense that I sense the feeling from being on the outside that he may slide back into the middle order there to bat at 4 for Australia. The options are, I think, whether they go back to the well in domestic cricket and reward performance at the top of the order from a number of players who've done well, or if they feel that their best 6 batters are the guys they have, then Travis Head is possibly the option that they go to. So we'll have to wait and see. But if Travis did get that opportunity, I think he'd grab it with both hands. But he has done really well in that middle order for Australia in that counter-attacking role. So I suppose Australia would lose that in a sense, but what they would get is someone probably as similar to David Warner as you can get at the top of the order, a left-hand aggressive player I'm sure if Travis got that opportunity, he'd do a very good job at it.
And does he, talking about going to the World, seemingly every summer we draw on these incredible reserves of this much vaunted pace attack, but we haven't won the Border Gavaskar Trophy in a decade. In fact, we've lost the last 2 series played at home to India. So can we rely on our now somewhat veteran Aussie attack to get the job done this time around?
I think they're the best bowlers in the country, and their records speak for themselves. I think that they'll go down, this quartet, including Nathan Lyon, as the best bowling attack that Australia's put out on the park. So, I'd be backing them in as a test coach of another nation. Look, they're a very good bowling attack, and look, I'm sure they can do the job. India, red hot. They're playing some wonderful Test cricket at the minute, or for a while now. But I think even though India have beaten Australia in recent times, I think Australia have a chance to beat India this time around.
Just briefly on that, how do you think you'll go coming up against your home nation as a Test cricket coach of Pakistan when the time comes?
I'm sure we'll find out at some point. It'll be a little bit unusual, no doubt, Jim. But look, when you become a career coach, you just take the opportunities, and you're focusing on your team, your group of players, and wanting to play the best cricket you can possibly play. So regardless of who you play, but look, obviously I'm an Aussie, and I love Australia, and but as Pakistan coach, I want to beat Australia. So that's the challenge. That's I suppose the competitor in me. And but we'll have to wait and see. Pakistan are coming out to Australia in November for some one-day cricket. So I think I'll be floating around doing a little bit of media and watching with interest. Obviously, some of our players that will then that are in the Pakistan Test side as well. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that'll be good viewing when the time comes on Fox Cricket as well. But you talk about, obviously, proudly playing for Australia and part of that emblem, the famous kangaroo. Now, that's also something close to your heart. You've got a very important role when it comes to one of our most iconic symbols. Can you just tell us more about your involvement and why that's so important to you?
Yeah, well, Kangaroo Day, it comes up on October 24, and, it's just raising awareness for, obviously the commercial slaughter of kangaroos in Australia. It's the largest mass slaughter of wildlife on the planet. And, for me, just being involved, just to raise awareness and just have those conversations about how we can coexist, with this beautiful animal. I was very fortunate enough, Jim, to wear a cap on my head for a decade playing cricket for Australia, and had the beautiful kangaroo on that cap. And, I think it's really important conversations to have. There are countries that are banning the import of kangaroo leather. So look, I just think, and with the South Australian Parliament have just voted on an inquiry into all this. So I think there's that, which is a good thing, and I think it does start those conversations. And let's work together to try and coexist with this beautiful animal.
Yeah, it's a good point you make. I was unaware of that myself. So October 24, World Kangaroo Day. It's funny to think one of our most iconic symbols is somewhat under threat in terms of what you were just talking about. So, yes, we should be encouraged to learn a bit more about it. Dizzy, great to catch up with you. Always is an illuminating chat, and good luck when you head over and take on the old enemy as head coach of Pakistan.
Thanks so much, Jim. Great to chat to you, mate.